after waking up, our heroes began to kind of find each other in the city and figure out that in fact it was a real shared dream that all of them had. They don't really know how it happened or why, but they're surprised at that. After kind of coming together mostly, other than I think pretty much everyone met other than Paravan, who successfully acquired a
Pan flute.
pan flute, I believe, yeah. Then they kind of coalesced or converged more on the plaza after Nocta ended up going to work at I guess it's the temple, I guess is how you describe it. At
the workshops are like adjacent.
The workshop adjacent to the temple. And the other adventurers arrived in the plaza to see Paravan busking, albeit a bit poorly, there. And as they had made eye contact with each other, an announcement came from a herald walking into the plaza, officially announcing the Contest of Champions in Pythron City, in which the adventurer or adventuring team that did the greatest deed for the town of Pythron would be awarded a boat, though the team or individual who is in second place would get plate armor, basically, from their finest blacksmiths, and the last person would get an undisclosed scroll of magics from the court wizard. After that happened, he announced that there is a board where town members have submitted I was just shook. I'm so sorry.
What?
Nocta, you shook me.
I'm sorry.
I've never been more shook in my entire life.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
No!
yeah.
Hold on.
Now you
Alright, let me
understand
get
why.
up to speed here. Give me a second.
I was shooketh. Literally destroyed. Yeah. No,
Wait.
it was. I'll say canon. It was better than Owen Day.
I like to think I'm like sitting there playing hot cross buns and mostly getting the notes right.
Yeah, see, I like that. But yeah, there is I don't know what to call it, a billboard in the plaza where they will be posting all of the different asks and issues that have kind of cropped up in town that they haven't had time to get to, for the adventurers to get started on their contest. He had also mentioned that there is a time limit to this challenge and that all quests must be completed within the next, I think, what did he say? I think it was I knew there was a deadline, but I don't remember what I said. In the next 10 days. So you have about a week and a half to complete your quest or quests, I suppose, if you are particularly fast. And yeah, so you are in the plaza, I suppose, other than Nocta, who is probably still at work. We're right around lunchtime, or not? Yeah, right before lunchtime because you all haven't eaten yet. On the second day of summer. So yeah, what do you? We'll start with those who are in the plaza, and then we'll kind of weave in for Nocta. When we're ready for that. So, yeah,
so I forget. Did we already come in contact with the last person yet?
So you made eye contact with Paravan, both the two groups.
We saw each other in the
we locked eyes, right? Across the crowded square.
Yeah, exactly.
But we didn't talk to each other.
So yeah, and I'll actually say after that announcement, you can see a couple of town guards that are taking flyers, basically, like pieces of paper, over to the billboard, ready to go kind of hang them up. With a crowd just, starting to form around them, trying to get an idea of what's going on there.
The help board.
The help board, yeah.
I took that note.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I am interested in the final guy from the dream.
Okay.
Is most interesting to me right now. So I'm gonna walk over there, and I am going to, in his collection little cup thingy, put 2 fish.
Start on a banger.
Well, that's where they end up.
One to
I
another.
look at the fish and at you, and it's difficult to say which one I look more strangely at.
Wait, where did these fish come from?
Would you like to share, Bryn?
Yeah,
remember them.
so I was literally walking around town, asking goblins where I could find a sexy goblin to try to find you, and so I met up with our boy Yarf.
Yarf.
Yes, we're going with Yarf.
Yarf. It's Yarf.
Okay, we met up with our boy Yarf, who is a fish seller in the market, and so in exchange for information, he implied that I have to buy some fish. So I bought 2 fish. He gave me the information. I went to the tavern where everyone else was at. I said I got 2 fish for whoever can give me information about a sexy goblin. To which Flint gave me information and I gave him the fish.
To which I said that, like, oh, here's a sexy goblin, and I pointed to your mom.
Yes.
And then
That
the
is
mom,
how this went down.
the mom then gave information, so I got the fish, and then I've been trying to get rid of the fish the whole time.
Oh dear, did my mom describe me as a sexy goblin?
No.
No.
She said, I don't find my daughter particularly sexy.
Thank goodness.
No, we're not going down a dark road. That was episode 1. We gotta save that for later. That's the
Wait,
non-canon.
Oh, mama. That's the expansion.
Exactly.
That's the non-canon fanfic for later.
Ooh.
The filler episode.
Oh god. Filler. Oh god.
I hardly know her.
Oh, God.
Anyways,
Oh,
I was already that.
so I'll give you.
All right, do you say anything after you hand him those fish?
Okay, yeah, you handed me the fish, and I gave you a very strange stare, as well as the fish.
I got these from last night.
That's what.
They're yours.
I think. Okay. Thank you for the fish, sir.
Did you not dream?
What'd you say?
Did you not dream?
I do indeed, and I seem to recall you
What?
being in there.
Me and 4 or 5 other adventurers. We're over here.
Does everyone else step forward?
I'm booking it
like a
towards the
Marvel
bulletin board.
team
Okay, so
reveal.
Bryn is joining the crew to the bulletin board. Flint has gone to meet Paravan. What's everyone else doing?
I would have went up and asked for a flyer, and then gone to the person I saw who was in the dream.
Okay, so yeah, you're also that would be making your way also to the bulletin board with Bryn.
Okay.
Gang.
You're just in the middle of the square. All right. You are very tall.
Seem to recall this man brandishing a stick and a small house plant.
Oh wait. Wasn't our conclusion that potentially the last person within the dream was the one who kind of orchestrated the whole thing?
The last person.
So we should be suspicious of this guy and
Which is-
questioning him
Which is
immediately.
funny because I'm just as suspicious of the rest of you.
I don't remember if you had.
Well, would
said that.
anybody
I don't
else-
think that I had said there was anything. At least like
No.
not-
It was just
Maybe
kind
from
of
you all.
us,
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
discussions.
Well, would anybody else know that he
I
was
just-
the last one there? Other than
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Wait, what?
I wouldn't know.
Would anyone know that Paravan was the last person in the dream other than
Well,
me?
no, it was Nocta. Nocta was the last person in the dream. Just
Well,
Oh yeah.
someone has someone met Nocta though?
We've all
Or
met
has-
Nocta.
Yeah, has Flint? No. Everyone but Bryn. Or
Yeah,
Bryn and
I thought.
Paravan has not met Nocta.
Yeah.
Because Nocta went to work
Okay.
before.
But the rest the rest of them, I am the last person.
Yes.
So has everyone gathered around me yet?
Just the two have come up to you.
I think that would influence my decision, so I would probably end up walking towards them instead of grabbing the flyer first.
Yeah, you can also make your way over that way. Bryn, it seems like you're on a mission.
Yep. I'm on a mission to get missions.
Yeah. But yeah. So what do you?
Yeah, whoever's walking towards the flyers, I say grab one for all of us.
I'm gonna grab as many as my arms can carry.
Wait. So, what did you have to do with the dream last night? What is your name, sir?
My name? My name is Paravan. My friends call me Perry. You can call me Paravan.
All right.
I
What does this
Aggressive.
dream? I know
Oh,
not.
shit!
Pear, where were you staying last night? Were you staying in a tavern?
I was indeed. I am new to the city.
That tracks with almost all of us, I believe.
So you have found.
Did
the
you
rest of the
orchestrate
crew.
this dream?
Me?
Yeah.
I tell you.
Well, it was none of us. None of us have prior experience with dream merging, and so
Nor have I.
He can't
Nor have you?
orchestrate much of anything.
I tell you, sir, it is not common that the characters in my dreams stand before me in the village square.
Who are you calling a character, sir?
So it remind me what Flint looks like.
Oh, I'm a 4'6", 180-pound mountain dwarf. I'm like that.
I love this guy going up.
Shirtless.
Who are you calling a character?
Yes, there is a picture. Yes, there he is, completely shirtless.
I think I just give him a look that says, "I'm calling you a character, sir."
Of all the people to see in my dreams, I have to get someone like this.
And
Well,
I
so
had to get
okay,
a talking garden
it
gnome.
wasn't you then?
Was it who the what?
It wasn't you that orchestrated the dream.
It was
so
not.
how did we end up in a dream altogether?
I tell you, sir, I do not know, but that answer is of great interest to me as well.
May have been the evil creature, the one that was attacking us.
The Kraken?
It might be destiny to win the boat
Hmm.
Ooh.
and go on and attack the Kraken in its lair.
So
I
you
don't
think
recall
that
us-
dream was a premonition?
Prophecy. Although hopefully it goes better, because that didn't really go very well.
Yeah, I seem to recall things going quite poorly. I recall my swan dive internally.
I think that we must win. We must get the boat. I must know if this dream was true.
You plan to seek that beast.
I plan
Intentionally.
to defeat that beast.
To eat?
Defeat.
Oh.
It probably tastes good, honestly, you know, fry it up a little bit. Come, let us go to the bulletin board. See what we can do in the city. You are new here as well as us.
Yeah, we gotta regroup and let people know what our current thesis is here.
So you have a team for this quest.
You may say that.
I wouldn't call it a team so much as people who woke up around taverns near us and ran into us.
I like
So, yeah,
that
Dream
more.
Dweller. If you want to call the Dream Dwellers a team, I guess we can.
Team Dream Dwellers?
Yes.
Dream Team?
That's a
The
strong
dream
name.
team.
And who's this crotchety asshole?
Pear, this is Jagat.
Pear. My name is
Jagat,
Paravan.
this is Pear.
Pear. He said his nickname was Perry.
Pear.
I'm just picturing the same picture of just a pear holding a bow with a hood.
Alright, come, let us move to the bulletin board and see what is on the options.
Yeah,
to look
so
for.
Alright, I'm willing to follow them to this bulletin board. I'm intrigued. I have no
Select your
associates in
pitch.
this city,
fair.
but I
Alright,
am
so
not
yeah.
confident that this will end well.
So yeah, Bryn, you are the first of your group to the board, of course, as you had
Awesome.
made a beeline there. it's kind of crowding around. People are kind of shoving and pushing to get to the front. Can you make? Are you going to be like trying to get up in the
Yeah, I'm trying to
fray
get to the
there?
front. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So yeah, make a strength check,
He's moshing.
Oh, mama.
or actually
Can
athletics.
I-
I'll give you athletics.
Okay. Whew. Where's athletics at? 3.
So you are at the back of the group, right? Trying to push your way to the front. You're kind of jumping a little bit to get a peek, right? Like to get through, but the kind of wall of people in front of you is pretty thick. The
I'm gonna-
guards, however, say order up, line, and they kind of move to push the crowd back from mobbing this bulletin board as you're trying to push to the front. So as the other group is kind of making their way over, you are being herded into a line. People are still trying to get to the front of the line.
Mhm.
And you make another strength check to see how you do in the line.
Can I cast prestidigitation to make myself smell like rotten eggs to get people away from me?
Of course you can.
I'm gonna do that. And then
You
try to push my way
smell
up.
like rotten eggs, and people are not happy. Like,
Now I'm
hear
gonna try to push my
someone-
way up.
you hear someone you can take it with advantage because people are astounded at what you're doing. You hear someone like, who took a fucking shit? You can't exactly tell who said it, but people are not happy.
Ugh. I got a 14 on strength.
Yeah, you with your rotten egg smell, like you are like at the front middle of the line, and
Mhm.
you're going to be making it up fairly quickly. Interestingly, there is a 5-foot gap behind you and a 5-foot gap ahead of you in this line.
I like a little wiggle room when
Yeah.
I'm in line.
As everyone has realized the source of this bitch. The line is moving fairly quickly as the guards are basically pushing people along, right? They give them just a
Mhm.
couple of seconds to take a look at the board and take whatever interests them.
At what point do we catch up?
You are at this point now kind of entering the back of the line.
Okay.
You're not that much farther back. Like there isn't like hundreds of adventurers in line here. You're more in the dozens of adventurers who have lined up here.
I'm also gonna
Does-
cast away the smell once I get up to that line.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna ask if my keen smell smelt the rotten eggs.
You had heard a bit of commotion. Make a perception check.
You do not want to pass
Okay.
this.
Hold on. Perception is
That should be wisdom.
Yeah.
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 I got a 8.
You heard the commotion, but you did not smell a stink. You could tell that there was a stench based on the who took a fucking shit. Uh,
Very
picked it
perceptive
up.
of you.
You really put that together.
Okay. Well,
um,
yeah, I'm actually kind of glad to.
Yeah, you're probably maybe a dozen or so people behind Bryn in line, as you make it up that way. So yeah, the line moves forward, and eventually, Bryn, you make your way to the board, where you are able to scan just a cacophony of papers. Like it's a mess, right?
Yeah.
They just put a bunch of stuff up there. The guards are kind of looking at you impatiently. You're not going to get a ton of time to identify which quest is most interesting to you. So make an investigation check as you approach this board.
Ooh. Where's investigation? 23.
Ooh.
Cool. I was actually going to give you advantage, and I forgot because you're at the front of the line and it hasn't gotten too fucked up yet. But
Try again.
23 is good enough.
Nope.
So yeah, you scan through. You quickly clock Gertrude's cat. It's on there
Uh-huh.
like 4 times somehow. This lady's very upset. But you do scan through some like kind of not super interesting things like I got in a bar fight, you need to beat up this guy, like not like stuff that's like not super like kind of little petty stuff. But you're able to really capture 3 different I guess I'll say quests is the right word, is that kind of catch your attention. The first of which you note is something that came from the farming guild, farming union, excuse me, in town, where they are claiming that something has been attacking and killing the cattle up in some of the northern fields.
Okay.
And that is like, you know, you've been in town a little bit, and you have heard a little bit about this farming union. You know they're an important group in town, so that's why it caught your eye. But yeah, something bad going up there. You also see a request from the Merchants Guild in town that is saying that from the, let me get the right road for you. Let me get the map.
Oh yeah, I need to pull that map up.
As you're going up, it would be again actually up the northern road out of the Forest Gate here.
Forest Gate, okay.
You would be there has been a group of bandits who have set up camp that is extracting attacks on anyone who passes through on that road. That the town guard, they like on there, you can see that there's kind of a little bit of annoyance from the Merchants Guild that like they explicitly say like that the town guard hasn't been able to handle, right? And then finally you see another quest that's from the blacksmiths in town. Like there's like kind of a blacksmithing another guild that is looking for the problem of a missing shipment of mithril that had come from Hukasta City. In the thing, it said had come through the mountain gate, or it was supposed to come through the mountain gate, but it never made it to town. After checking with the officials from Hukasta City who sent it, they have said like, hey, this is, you know, it should have got to you. We don't know what happened. So they want someone to go investigate what happened to the missing shipment of mithril. So yeah, those are the 3 that really catch my eye.
Do I know a number that I'm allowed to take? Like, did they ever say anything about that?
No, they didn't say anything.
All right, I'm gonna grab all 3 of those and a cat one.
They don't stop you, but they as soon as you grab a couple, they begin hurrying you along.
So am I able to get all of them?
Yeah, you do. You get them all. With your 23. That's good enough.
Nice.
Yeah, so you got all of those different things. Cool. So yeah, so you've acquired them, and you turn around and you can see that your compatriots are in line with a new person that you have made eye contact with but not met.
But I'm gonna head back to them in line and say, there's a bunch of nonsense on that board, but these were the good ones. The cat's a little iffy, but these 3.
I like to think he says these are the good ones and holds out the cat flyer.
Did you clear your smell, Bryn, or are you still?
Yes, yeah, I cleared it once I got into like that like a part in line. I cleared it. Yeah, man, that's crazy, dude. It smells like ass over there. I wouldn't walk that way if I were you. But yeah, I think. Did you say that the farms were to the north?
Yeah. So
So the farm
Northeast
and
farmers.
the
Is that what
bandits
you
are to the north.
Yeah.
We could probably get both of those.
Can
somewhat.
I get a reminder about what
Wait,
Blinn
what are-
looks like?
I'm am
pulling up a
an
map.
elf, about 5'7", so like ish height. You're also a half elf?
I'm a
correct?
half elf, and I'm like 5'10". Yeah.
How old are you? How old is your character?
82.
82. Yeah. So we're
80,
similar in
83.
age. We haven't quite reached adulthood.
I'm
unless
83
so you
actually.
recognize. You're 83. Okay, yeah. So I'm wearing leather armor. I have 2 daggers at my hip, a sword, and then a bow on my shoulder as well. I got long white hair, blue eyes.
Cool.
I imagine I would be. I'm definitely like a solid foot shorter than Jagat.
Okay, so you're like a short Legolas.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you mean to stream that, Ben?
Yeah. I am sharing what the map looks like, so you have reference points of where
Ah.
things are.
Well, I do not have the newest version of the map.
This
That's
is
okay.
this is my version.
Yeah,
okay.
you're not
You
gonna
don't have
publish
this
it.
version. This is
Cool.
my
Yeah.
version.
Ben, you forgot to upload this.
Yeah, huh?
Is that Gertrude's cat?
There's a
On the
reason that I'm
right?
zoomed in like really far.
Uh,
um,
Wait, so do you share the flyers with all of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of like holding out the flyers like in front of all of you guys, holding them out. It's like, and I point it at Paravan and be like, "Who's the new guy?"
I won't mouse over all of them because they do have spoilers on them. But this is Pythron City. This is the main port for Python. This is the Seaway, the Shortway, the what is this? Why is this? I don't know why this is not. Maybe sorry. The why is this not highlighting? I must have fucked something up. This is the Mountain Pass, the Shortway. This has a name that I don't remember anymore.
Seaway.
I don't know why it's not highlighting correctly, but yeah. So this is the way. So this is the northern fields where there have been the cockatrice attacks, and on the Shortway is where the bandit attacks have been happening.
Okay.
The mountain pass is the way towards. I don't want to go over there, so I don't like have spoilers. But that's where Hukasta
Yeah.
City is.
And that's the mithril stuff. The
And that is
missing mithril.
this is the route where the mithril was lost.
Okay.
In route,
Hmm.
And how long do we have to complete these?
you have 10 days.
10 days. Okay.
And for context, today is the second day of Kytheron, which is Scytheron's the first month of summer.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, after looking at these flyers, I'll say that I remember at the tavern, the innkeep told us about the farmers' union's cattle and Miss Gertrude's cat.
I think
Um,
the cat might be the best way to go.
Well, if we're considering what would be the greatest deed, how do you think we could have the greatest impact here? Helping the farmers' union and the cattle? Everybody has to eat.
I think those bandits would win us the town's favor for sure.
If we head
Certainly
up that
with
road,
the
we can
Merchants Guild.
best both of those issues.
That's true. Why stop at one item when we could do two?
Indeed, with such a large group, we could claim all the prizes separately.
Ooh.
Is there multiple prizes?
Yes, there are.
There's first,
three-
second, and third.
There is first,
Yeah.
second, and third prizes available.
Oh,
And
I
what
see.
if we
Name
perform the best
3.
3D?
Yes.
One of us deals with the cockatrice, one of us deals with the bandits,
Split
and the
into
last of us
groups
deal
of
with the cat.
3.
I don't
So
know if
as
the cat
you
requires
guys
that much attention.
are having a discussion, I actually want to cut over to Nocta,
Okay.
and how you're about midday at your work. I guess like you're a watchmaker, right? Just so I have everything.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of a good way to describe, like, I guess just describe like your average day doing your watchmaking, and like kind of what you're doing up there, right now.
Yeah, so I first get in, review the projects that I'm currently working on. I've got this commission to have a watch finished in the next day. So the person wants it engraved with an image of a woman with her head as the sun, or like with a sun halo. An image of the goddess, basically.
Yeah.
I finished the watch, and now I'm just engraving the plate. So I've got like a jeweler's loop in, and I'm
Mhm.
using tools that are basically too small for you to see, but because I'm 3'4", they seem larger to me.
Gotcha. So
Just doing some engraving.
Mhm.
There's just like a table and 2 or 3 of us all working because that's how the temple supports itself.
Yeah, make a sleight of hand check to see how is your watchmaking going today.
Okay, sleight of hand.
That's the best I could do.
Light of
Cool.
hand.
Can I like take advantage because I have the correct tools?
No, I'd say the correct tools in this case give you the ability to do the work.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. damn it. Forgot. Okay, roll d20. Oh dear, it's not going well.
Oh.
I think that's a 7.
A 7. So the like you've put the watch together because you've made many watches many times, right?
Mhm.
Without really any issue. But the engraving, you're not particularly pleased with the work that you've done so far today. You're not. It's not like the worst thing you've ever done in your entire life. Like you're not some beginner, but you're not like thrilled with how you're doing on the particular piece. Yeah, I guess another question that I actually had, because I don't think it's been super organized. What part of town is your temple in? Because you've lived here, so I'm gonna need some. Should have asked you before the thing, but I forgot.
Okay, remind me which sector the Albatross was in. It was by the Seagate.
Yeah, it was in. I'm trying to pull up the map, but I'm not finding the. There we go. Yeah, you were in Westerling. That's where the Albatross was.
Gotcha. I'm gonna say the temple is near the Forest Gate.
Okay. Over
It's
to
it's
the
like
sea.
on that little square just inside the gate.
Okay, cool. And then as you were leaving yesterday, you had left while your compatriots were at the bar. Did you tell them where you were going, or did you just kind of bounce on them?
Yeah, I gave them my like business card.
Oh, okay, so they do have a business card, so they know where you are as well. Okay,
Mhm. But because things haven't been going very well and it's getting on towards lunchtime, I might just take a walk at lunchtime to clear my head.
fair enough. Yeah, you are on a walk from around the forest gate where your temple is, or the workshop where you're near the temple. Um, and yeah, are you like going to look? You're looking for lunch, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not particularly hungry at the moment. I'm mostly just trying to get myself in order so that I can actually do a decent job in the afternoon.
Sure. I mean, there's restaurants all over town. Where are you headed for lunch?
Uh, I guess I'll. Well, before I worry about food, I'm gonna worry about the commotion, which is coming from the center of town.
You do hear that there is something is happening. You knew. You don't hear that.
A massive dump in the
But
center of the town.
you did hear while you were working on your watch, the herald's horn had blown in the center of town. Then there was some kind of announcement, and you knew that this was coming because the town had been talking about it for the last weeks.
Mhm.
So you don't need an insight check to put 2 and 2 together about what's happening there. So yeah, you're making your way down to the plaza. And yeah, you see a giant line of people, and people kind of chatting and grouping around and excited talking about the various quests and commissions. You see tons of adventurers around, and you do see what I'll call the gang for now. um,
The dream team.
the dream team
Dream team.
talking together in the town nearby. The help board. Still can't think of a good name for it. It'll
Cool.
come eventually.
I mean,
will-
help board works. That's what it is.
The
Quest board.
Quest
Yeah, I was thinking
board,
quest
like-
board.
Yeah,
It's just a bulletin.
yeah, the bulletin, the forum.
It's the
Yeah.
job bulletin board.
Yeah, the Craigslist.
Craig's list.
Oh, some dude named Craig comes out and puts them out every morning.
Yeah, every morning. But yeah,
There's
so
like-
that's a. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, you do see the group kind of talking over some things. Commotion in town, the usual sellers, usual restaurants. As you enter the plaza.
Cool. I will approach these people that I recognize because there are other people with them who I may also recognize who I haven't
Indeed.
yet met.
Indeed,
Can
you do not. You recognize Parabon, but you don't know who they haven't met.
Oh, from the dream, yeah.
Make a stealth check. No, make a stealth check. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you walk right Nocta. Okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
With disadvantage because you're not trying to be
Yeah,
sneaky?
it is. Yeah, like it's. Yeah, you're. A 15. All right, give me a second. A guard
You're
yells
gonna
to
get
you, "What
lucky.
the fuck are you doing?"
Oh no.
Sir, put that away. He's like, and two guards walk up to you.
Oh shit.
When they get closer to you, they are taken aback at your particular stature, as you tower over these two human men guards. No, I'm not talking about your see you're and they're like hey sir, what is your name? Jagat. And you can see the other ones writing it down next to you. Like what are you? Why are you peeing on the side of this building? Yeah, they look at you. Make a persuasion check.
As I watch this, I turn to the others and I go, maybe it would be best if we split up for the quest. 18.
They narrow their eyes at you, and the one after hearing like you're like some country bumpkin, they crush up the piece of paper they were writing on, and they say, "We'll let you off with a warning next time, Jagat. But if
A
we
warning
see
next
you,
time.
no warning.
Next time.
Well, this time we'll let you off a warning. Sorry, I'm bad. At
No, it's your
Um, we'll let you have a warning this time. Next time, you should expect a hefty fine for what you just did. You know that that is against the law of Python City. Yeah, as you say, it was an awful good piss. You see them think about uncrumbling it, but decide against it. um, yeah, and they say, yeah, you, and they just kind of look at you as you know, and go back to what they were doing. Yeah. Yeah, you successfully peed on a wall. You did
Oh,
you had
huge!
300 experience points. Yeah. What just happened? It's like they're not even a drunk person. It was just it's like 11 in the middle of the week. Yeah.
covered in leaves and shit.
This forest ginger just came over and peed on my house.
Yeah. So yeah, as that was going on, Nocta, you did pass Jagat walking over, and it you experienced what happened over there. But you are up with the remainder of the group, while Jagat is making his way back.
I'm gonna pretend that I didn't see that right there.
I think that's wise.
Holy shit, is that a sexy goblin? The name's
Do I-
Bryn. Why are you in my dreams?
Do I know? No. Were you also in the dream? Do I recognize him?
Yes.
Oh yes, I remember.
I can never forget you.
I Well, thank you for the compliment
mom-
on my appearance, but
Your mom is a wonderful lady.
yeah,
Very kind.
she's really a pretty good mother. But know that I'm taken already. The goddess is who I serve. So
I'm-
please,
with
I'm not
the
that upset with
ladies.
that. Yarf, on the other hand, will be very distraught. You should talk to him.
Okay.
Yarf.
Do I know Yarf?
Vaguely, he is
Your
another
mom knows
goblin who lives
Yarf.
in town. Um,
Mom.
and Yorf has had previously made advances towards you.
Oh, well, you don't need to worry about him. I've already told him what's up.
He sells a fine fish. And then I just gesture over to the 2 fish.
Yeah, I look down at my box.
We're in
Take a
box!
little
His
sniff.
leftovers, ruined.
I have a box containing the leftovers of my breakfast, 5 coppers, and 2 raw fish.
Truly a king's
The box also
ransom.
does not have a lid.
I can
It's just a bin then.
like a small form of prestidigitation in my hand.
Speaking of him selling fish, would you like these?
Wait, what was your prestidigitation?
I didn't catch your prestidigitation.
I create a small flame. I say I can cook those for you if you'd like.
Ooh.
That's
No heavy
convenient.
seasoning though.
Yeah, that would probably improve them. Would you guys like to I don't know, sit down and have some lunch? I gotta get back to work in a bit. But I'm curious about these quests. Anything interesting come up?
Cats.
It's a cat. Forgot. Not here. Where's the place to eat? You know the city better than all of us.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
mean,
a couple of restaurants. I can give you a couple to work with, at least. You know that there is I'd say a kebab restaurant that is a place that people have talked about. There are all the taverns serve food for all 3 meals.
Well, we could go back to the Crimson Albatross. That would make sense. No?
is there just like a place where like day laborers are inclined to grab a bite?
Like a
Yeah, so
cafeteria?
there are some like what I would call the equivalent of a food truck, but it's just like a food stand that are in the plaza that
food
like
cart,
is a food
perhaps?
cart. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Food
Yeah,
cart.
there's people who bring carts of prepared hot food. Some people have cauldrons of soup they bring in. Others have steaks of meat. Um,
Mm.
various different foods that you can find.
Well,
are in the plaza.
the soup that this or the stew that this peddler serves tends to be of comparatively good quality. If you guys want to grab a bowl, we could then sit and eat in the courtyard outside the temple.
Yes, that
Stew.
would go
I
great.
have
That
some
sounds
fish.
perfect for me.
Or you can throw the fish in your stew.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
you
starving.
yeah, you go over to a particular peddler who has actually brought 3 cauldrons, all on their thing with their cart, not thing. Um, each, and they're like they have a little sign out that says they have a vegetable, lamb, and beef, all different flavors of stew. Um, simply a single silver for a meal for a bowl.
Ooh.
The man behind
In one bowl?
cart. You're looking for a tasting? Are you thinking like he seems more fancy than you'd expect from a cart salesman. He's like, "Would you like a flight? Is that what you're looking for?" Oh, of course. Yes. I would give you. So he produces 2 different sized containers. He's like, and then one is like a small kind of cup, and the other is a full bowl. He's like, well, I would give you 3 of these cups, 1 of each. We call that a flight. That would run you but 2 silver, or you could just get a bowl of a single, and that would run you 1 silver. All right, yeah. So he pours you out a flight of stew. Um, and
Let go
like
of
has
it. See
a
see if it
small
falls.
board that they all insert into kind of nicely
Oh
for
my
you to
goodness.
carry with you. And it actually comes with a small piece of like a bread with it as well.
Nice.
And do you pay
remind
him the
me-
2 stew or 2 silver? Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A silver is a tenth of a gold.
Yes.
Could I have 1 beef stew, please, sir?
Coming right up, and he serves it out and hands it to you.
Gracias.
I actually sidle out of the line and go stand by Jagat.
Okay.
I'm gonna get 2 flights for my size.
You want 2 flights?
Yes.
He looks at you. He's like, "Good man." And he pours you out.
Wait, you could have got 3 bowls for less.
Yeah, you could have got 3 bowls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. With the flight with bread. The normal bowls. So,
I mean, I get 3 bowls is what I mean.
if you want 3 bowls, yeah, you can get 3. He's like, sure.
I mean, 4
doesn't-
bowls. I'll get 4. I don't want to jip you, but I want the soup.
And you want 2 of which kind?
2 of the vegetable.
2 of the vegetable. He pours out all 4, and he looks a little confused because they're kind of sitting in front, and he just like doesn't have a way to give this to you. You're able to carry it away in 2 hands very easily.
I got
And he's
big palms.
Just kind of pours it or like pushes it over to you without really being very committal on how he's handing this over.
Can I do it like an athletics check to see if I can hold it in my palms?
Do a sleight. I would say sleight of hand. You can
I can't.
this
Yeah,
through.
I could, but there's
Yeah.
4, so that leaves 1 extra.
I do
Okay.
have 1 hand free that's not holding my box.
Well, I'm not gonna.
I
put
am
that
right
on
next
you.
to the commotion.
I'll just see if I can hold them. So you said sleight of hand?
Yeah, sleight of hand check. See if you can carry all of these stews.
That is okay. I got -1. 15.
Yeah, no problem. You are gracefully carrying all these stews.
Okay, I
And
don't make a fool of myself.
yeah, he looks at you. He's like, next time you come by, the stew's on me. Impressed
Oh,
your ability
nice.
to take the stew away without spilling a drop.
Nice.
Graceful. I like an elephant.
Are you sipping them like they're beverages?
Give me a sec. Let me see how the stews taste. Soup kind of bangs. Not gonna lie. It was a good call by Nocta. This is a good call out. What a,
Yes, we call them shops.
Ah, the thrill of the hunt.
You can go get some more.
In the meantime, I'll get a bowl of vegetable.
yeah, that's just a single silver. Do you frequently split this place often, Nocta?
I feel like it's like a once a week kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Like a knowing a knowing nod of recognition, but like not first name basis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like knows who you are, but like not like the homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily acquire some vegetable stew. Is anyone else missing any stew?
I'm gonna get a vegetable as well.
Okay, just have a vegetable stew. Done and dusted.
If the peddler were a goblin, I would know him, but
Mm-hmm. Coming right up, and he hands you over a bowl of lamb and for that silver piece. Yeah. No worries about money. Made up rocks. and- So yeah, you have successfully bought some stew. I know that Nocta had recommended going to the courtyard at the temple. Is that where you all are headed?
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, you all make your way through the plaza. You can see a lot of different groups as on your walk over of like small groups of adventurers that are, discussing these different quests about what they're going to do. You would estimate like there's probably somewhere around 10 other groups of adventure, maybe 12 other groups of adventurers of varying sizes, from like 3 to 6 adventurers, um, that are also going to be competing with you guys. But yeah, you're not accosted or anything. You make your way to the temple courtyard without incident, where there are a couple of nice tables that you are good to sit at.
Do we all know each other's names at this point? Have we all been introduced?
No way.
I feel like
no,
I
not
met
sure.
Flint.
I think
Yeah.
Naka might be out of the loop, and so you were kind of like leading the discussion and figuring out what was going on here.
Oh, by the way, you elf-looking guy with the box. I'm Nocta. Who are you? I mean, what's your name? I recognize you from the dream, but
Nocta. My name is Paravan. You can call me Paravan.
okay. That's
Pear, for
straightforward
short.
enough.
If you call me Para, I'll put an arrow in your ear.
My ears are not that big. They do not make as easy a target as you would think.
I said that looking over your head, but still sort of speaking to you. Nocta, are you from this city? You seem to know it quite well.
Oh yeah, I've lived here my whole life. I live over at the Crimson Albatross. But this is where I work. You know, the temple runs the Watchmakers Guild, and I'm a member. I
You are
like
a
use my
watchmaker.
membership card.
Card carrying member.
Hell yeah!
I take it gingerly, somewhat confused.
You say you've lived here your whole life. Have you ever had any dreams similar to this before?
Unless you tell me otherwise, Ben, I'm gonna assume no.
This would, unless there was a reason in your backstory, no.
Yeah. No. I've never experienced anything quite like that. Yeah. I really don't know what that was about. That was really quite frightening. I mean, thank goodness we have Delara to smite such beasts.
Someone previously at the other side of the plaza had said that they thought that it was in us winning the boat and potentially in the future.
Yes, that
Did-
was me.
Who was
That
that?
was Flint, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I go, hey Flint, why don't you mention your theory?
My theory is our goal. This was a premonition. We must win the boat. And once we have the boat, we must take down the Kraken.
I seem to recall the last time I saw us fighting it, that did not go too well.
Yeah. We
Now we know what we did
should
wrong.
definitely make some ritual invocations before we go anywhere near that thing again.
But I believe that is what we must do. We must take down the Kraken. What else could be a better way to help the great city and the world?
Well,
Oh,
but we
And
couldn't,
there's
you might be onto something.
we couldn't do that until we had the ship. And to have the ship, we would already have had to help the city.
So, forget the quests. We steal the ship and get. No, just kidding. I wouldn't say that.
you can.
No, I'm too good. I'm too good at
True,
one.
you are not like an evil. Or a
I
neutral
wouldn't. That
character.
wouldn't even come up in my mind.
Yeah.
Nocta, have you ever heard rumors of a beast such as the one we saw?
Can I roll for that?
Yeah, make a nature check or nature or history, up to you. Either one would work.
Can I make it history? Can I
Yeah.
take some sort of perk for living at a tavern frequented by sailors? You know, my father among them.
I think you would just have whatever your history check is. I don't think you would get a particular bonus for this tavern.
Cool.
In this case.
Oh, great. Yeah, I've never heard of it. 6.
I mean, you have been in a tavern, so you have heard that there are wild sea creatures and crazy sailor stories, but nothing that really matched the description of what you had seen.
Gotcha.
day. Yeah.
Well, I mean, my father's seen some crazy things out on the waters, but he's never described anything like this to me.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you look at, the old maps, sometimes there are parts where it just says Hic sunt dracones, and who knows what's out there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I dare say, even if we were to kill the beast, the city would not be thankful of our services, given that the city does not seem to be concerned about the beast.
Yeah,
Oh, at this
it
point,
doesn't.
I don't know if I've shown Nocta the flyers, but so I lay them out on the table facing her. So these are the flyers that we got from the bulletin board. By the way, I think we should pick some tasks to try to woo the town with.
Okay. I mean, if we can do good for my hometown, I'm certainly interesting.
You certainly are.
A slip of the tongue.
And such as the curse of the sexy goblin.
Yeah.
Were there go ahead.
My god, Dolara.
Were there any leads for the cat or anything, like direction wise, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Beacon Hill.
Yep. That is right.
Yes.
Yes.
Where?
Yeah, and it even has
Cascade.
an address that just says 22 West Way in Beacon Hill, which you presume is the home of Gertrude, who has requested someone to find her cat
Hmm.
that has gone missing.
Do we
Does
know which
not-
one of these we're closest to?
That's a good question.
Well, we're by the
Um,
forest gate, right?
So yeah, you are by the forest gate. So you would be relatively close to Beacon Hill, which is over to the east. And you would also be so actually to explain a little bit more, right, about these quests for what leads they have, right? For the one that's from the Farmers Union, it says that you need to talk to an individual by the name of Tarn Winters, who is currently working or is in town and staying at the inn that for a couple of days. He normally lives on the outside of town, but it says like he will be here for a couple of days to ask and answer questions of these adventurers. What was the name of the tavern again that you all had stayed in?
Which one?
Bryn and Paragon.
Horn Salamander.
Yeah, it is staying in the Horn Salamander for a couple of days. So you could find Tarn Winters in regards to that issue. In the case of the bandit issue, this would be talking to it doesn't actually give you a specific name for the Merchants Guild, but they say you should go talk to the town guard to gather more information about what's going on here, as the Merchant Guild has already provided them with all of the information that they require. You know that the town guard has a barracks and jail actually in the plaza. If you look at the map, it's half of that large building is the barracks, and and the other half is the town hall, which you had seen when you had gone into town or into the plaza. So they are there. And then finally, for the missing shipment of mithril, this would be going to talk to the Blacksmiths Guild, which is in the Blacksmith Square in the south part of town, near the the Mountain Gate.
Now,
So
as Nocta is looking at the postings, I ask Burin, how many people are in front of you in that line and may have seen these postings too? Considering that we have the only copy as far as I know.
No,
Well-
they had copies. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
There were
stolen.
many of each.
Yeah, they had printed off a couple of different copies for the adventurers to take with.
We should try to go talk to each of these people before nightfall today.
Yeah,
then
and we're
decide
closest.
where we want to go tomorrow.
Are we closest to the plaza?
you said you're by the forest gate, so you are placed a little bit in Easterling, right there. So you're not quite over to Beacon Hill, but you are in Easterling, like kind of to the west of that main road there coming down.
Well, if we want to speak to them all before nightfall, perhaps we should split up to cover more ground.
I agree.
Well, I was thinking we could plot a path between them. That would be the fastest path, and then just determine which ones we hit first.
Are any of us a salesman?
A salesman? Like a
Traveling
door-to-door
salesman.
salesman?
I've been told I'm charismatic once or twice.
So what should we focus on of the three?
What
Whatever's
time of day is it?
closest.
So you just ate lunch. The sun is high up in the sky. You're sometime midday.
Okay.
I think for me, the farmers' union and their cattle is on the top of my priority because it seems like it would be affecting the most people. And then next to that would be the bandits and the merchants guild.
Well, those are like right next to each other, right?
Well, not exactly. One's in the plaza and one's at the Horned Salamander. So whichever one we're closest to, we should go to first.
I'm staying at the Horned Salamander. We could
As am
pop
I.
in for dinner.
So that means we should go to that second. Because we just had lunch. And I'm no longer hungry.
Oh, by the way, I don't have any lunch.
You
I
have two
asked
fish.
genuinely if we can cook the fish.
Sure. I just hold out my hand and summon a flame the size
Awesome.
of a small campfire. It's like, have at it.
I pull out 2 of my arrows and I stick the fish on the end of
Love
them and hold them out like I'm roasting marshmallows.
All right, Parabon, make a nature check.
Make a nature check?
Yeah.
Alright. I rolled. Oh god, I rolled a 1.
bandits? It was a post by the Merchants Guild, and it said that you guys might have more information.
Yes, of course. In fact, there is a group in there already, but you are next in line. They're currently talking to our captain. She has all the information from the Merchants Guild about these bandits. And yeah, they will gladly be able to help you. And then the other guard kind of chimes in, like, anything else you need, sir? Like, shockingly helpful.
Is there any other beside the help posts? Is there any other ills that are harming this town?
One of the guards, like the guard who had chimed in, kind of muses. Nothing specific, but this conflict is breeding tension for people. You all would know what he's referring to in that case, which is the conflict between the Silverfin Armada and the Hupasta and what's the town? Hoover City.
Yeah.
That conflict is the one that he's like obviously referring to in this context. And he's like, that has definitely put pressure on us, but I don't think I have anything specific other than what was on that help board.
Thank you. And I take a mental note that we should potentially look for leverage to solve this conflict if that's at all viable.
That may be hard in 10 days.
Yeah.
This might be a little bigger than us.
We might need more than a boat.
And as that conversation is happening, you actually see the door open. Give me just a sec. Make sure I have the right people who walk out. Yeah, so as you kind of wrap up that conversation talking to the guards, the door opens, and walking out of the room, you see two people. One is a female half-orc, and the other is a younger female half-orc and an older gnomish man. They both have like goggles on their head, and like kind of messed up hair.
Damn, they're cool.
And they kind of make their way out and are surprised to see you as they're going out, but they don't really say anything as they're walking by.
Yeah, it's like we lock eyes for a moment and it goes slow-mo. It's one of those scenes in a movie.
I give them a cold stare. Think like Blue Steel.
Blue Steel. I don't remember which shoulder it is. But yeah, so after that, you hear a voice from the inside call out, Carl, Jeff, anyone else coming in? And they're like, yeah, we got another group for you. And they look at you and usher you towards inside.
All right, I say, come on, guys, let's go.
Thank you, Carl and Jeff.
Caravan, why don't you ask the guards for information?
Ask the guards for information?
About the bandits.
Didn't we? Ask the captain?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I guess we all step inside.
Yeah, is everyone going inside to the little barracks? Just a little office room for the barracks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you walk inside and it's a modest room, really dominated by a large desk covered in papers, keeping track of things. You can see a couple of doors that go back into various rooms throughout the building. And behind the desk, sitting at the table, you see a gnomish woman in full armor, other than a helm, who says, welcome, come in. I'm assuming you are here in response to the bandit issue?
Indeed, Captain. My party and I would like to help in any way we can.
Okay. Understood. Let me give you the lowdown. She like kind of eyes you all up. So you seem like moderately capable adventurers. And she begins explaining. It's been in the last month or two here. We've had reports from traders coming from the north on the short way. coming from what is the main path from Huber City, that coming and going from our town, that bandits have been taxing individuals going through. It's caused a lot of problems, particularly for the merchants, as they don't appreciate being taxed and harassed and accosted traveling on these roads. Unfortunately, we went out and did confront them, but they were a little more than what some of our town guard could handle. So we're focusing on, you know, keeping the peace in the city. We're not really able to wage a full-on battle with bandits outside of the town. You know, most of our guards, and he's like, don't let Carl and Jeff hear. Are, you know, they're volunteers from the town, and they help keep the peace, but they're not a trained fighting force. So we haven't been able to really shake them off of doing this work. We don't know, other than, you know, obviously gains of why they're doing this, why they showed up a couple of months ago. But it would be a real help for me, as I can stop hearing from these fucking guild members about their stupid road, and for the people of this town, that they won't be, you know, accosted as they're leaving, going to and from. But yeah, do you have any other questions?
Do you
That's
know
the
their
gist of what's going on.
numbers?
Yeah, what was the capacity of their forces?
Yeah, there was quite a few of them. In the confrontation that we had, we were, you know seeing at least, you know, maybe 24 of them in total. Quite a few, more than we could handle. But yeah, I would estimate somewhere around 24.
And do you know where they take camp?
That is a good question. We
Don't
scouted
know.
around the area and we couldn't find where they were keeping camp. We had continued scouting. All we know is that they appear in the early morning and they leave late at night. We attempted to trail them, but they spotted us in most of our attempts, and we were not able to track them back to where they're currently staying. Our estimates, based on where they were going from the night, is that they were heading from the west of where they were. But other than that, we don't have an exact location.
I see. Well, any way that we could serve the town, we would be most happy to.
Yeah, and I would be most grateful.
Anyone else got anything?
Is there any fresh water in the direction that they come from? If they've been there for a while, they'll need some kind of source of water.
There is a river going that way, that feeds out into the Center Sea, but that's all I can think of. No large lakes or anything like that.
Okay. And do you the farms that have been having problems with the cattle?
They've
Are
been
they
talking to us too,
Do you know anything about that?
a little. This is very recent, unfortunately. And events are still unfolding at this point. We haven't completed an investigation at this point, but I know that at least 5 or 6 cattle from one of the farms were found dead one morning, overnight. No one saw anything that had happened, and they were talking about something really odd, where one of the cows was still alive but frozen on the ground, unable to move. And so that's all I had heard so far. There are some guards going up there that are in mid-investigation, trying to get to the bottom of it. But that's all the reports that I've gotten. This was only just a couple of nights ago.
Okay, thank you.
Was it just the one incident, or has there been more?
That's all that I have heard, but I suppose it's possible that more have happened.
Anybody got any other questions?
That's all for me.
All right, I look around the group. I see that everyone seems pretty satisfied. And
Hold on, Commander.
Oh.
Do you? So wait, does this town, is it near water?
Not particularly close. It is definitely a landlocked town. There is a road that leads out to a port that is also controlled by the town itself.
Ah, okay.
Um,
That's all I
and
need.
then but to the north, there is a river that goes close-ish to the short way or the short path,
Okay.
whatever it's called.
Have you gotten any reports from your port guards about any creatures, perhaps in the water nearby?
She sighs and says, "The port guard is under a different jurisdiction than the city guard." You definitely pick up with some annoyance.
Hmm.
With us or with the bureaucratic organization?
Bureaucratic organization. She's not annoyed from your questions at all.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you.
And she says, "Oh, and I am no commander. I Captain Weaselfoot.
Ah,
Weaselfoot?
Captain Weaselfoot."
Is Captain Weaselfoot taller than me?
How tall are you?
3'4".
All right, let me do a roll because I don't know.
Roll for height
Yeah, we're rolling for
with
height.
advantage.
What would be the best way to do it? All right, we'll do this.
Captain Weaselfoot.
You are right about the same height, actually. Funnily enough, I had rolled 3'3", so you are just a little taller.
But I suppose one could still say that you see eye to eye.
Yeah.
Jeez.
that's good.
Mhm.
All right, yeah. And she looks at you. Any other questions you all need?
I think that is all for us right now. I appreciate the
Alright,
information.
well, I hope that you are able to resolve our problems. In the vote that will happen. If you do this, the vote will be from me to you. This would be big for us.
Oh, thank you, Captain.
One more question: which farm was it that had the incident?
It was one of the northern farms. I think it was the Westgale farm, but I couldn't tell you for 100%.
We will ask around. We will ask around.
Well,
Yeah.
we need to just go talk to Tarn Winters at the Horn Salamander.
Well, Captain, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate all the information you've given us.
Yes, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And with that, I turn to make my exit.
Yep. Yeah. You successfully leave the room, and as you leave, you hear the captain call out, "Carl, Jeff, any more?" And they say, "Yes, Captain. We'll send them in." And as you're walking out, you see another group of adventurers that is going in to talk to Captain Weaselfoot, all clad in leather armor, all like kind of together in leather armor, wielding with kind of fierce-looking scimitars at their hips, ready to go in to the room.
Approximately how many do they number?
Oh, 4 of them.
Okay.
As I walk past them, I create that same egg smell.
Oh.
And I look at them and I was like, "It was you guys this morning."
Do you waft it in with them?
Make a sleight of hand check if you can cast prestidigitation without them noticing.
Definitely a lot. Is that 22?
You successfully cast prestidigitation. And they look at you like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
You guys
No,
are disgusting.
that was not me. But you can see Jeff and Carl are like,
See, that's all you do it this morning. You don't have to lie. It's okay. And I just keep walking.
yeah, they will remember
And
this.
as soon as I walk past you, I get rid of the smell.
And you can hear them say, like, "See, as they left, the smell went away."
So we make our way back over toward the Horn Salamander then?
I think
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go to the Horn Salamander. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, you make your way through town over to the Horn Salamander, where Paravan and Bryn had stayed the night. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm getting all my shit in order. What? I thought I had the wrong too many tabs. There we go. All right. So yeah, you make your way to the Horned Salamander, where it had said on there. It even had specified that he would be in the back table, or the table like in the back to the left of the bar as you're walking in, so you know where he will be. And yeah, you walk back to the Horned Salamander, and as you walk in, it's kind of a commotion inside. It seems pretty busy. Lots of different people kind of buzzing around. Definitely a lot busier than it was this morning. It seems that most of the clientele has woken up and is getting either a lunch or a dinner, or a lunch or a drink, I mean. And but you see that even though like there's a lot of people buzzing around, you can see that there is a halfling man sitting at the table, all the way in the back, to the left of the bar, alone, just kind of quietly sipping on a drink.
I'd like to approach the barkeep.
Okay, yeah, you approach the barkeep, and he's like, "Oh, what do you need?"
I'd like to order 2 big ales, please.
Big ales, and he pours them out, and he says, "All right, that'll be 5, so 8 copper. Sorry, 8 copper."
8 copper, cool. I give him 1 silver and 3 copper.
Why, thank you, Perry. You are a nicer man than I thought.
It's not for you, you fool.
And he says, "Oh, thank you, sir." And hands you your ale.
All right, so I would like to take the tankards and approach the halfling man at the table.
Sure. Is the rest of the crew following?
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You make your way over to. Oh yeah. Yep. You are I'll say eclectic group.
And a hooded half-elf.
But he's
who
expecting
orders
people.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's name's supposed to be Tarn Winters, right?
Yes.
He is Tarn Winters, yeah.
Okay. I approach the table, still holding my ales, and go, "Mr. Winters."
He looks up.
Inquire my
Hello. And as you get closer, you can see he's an older man. Older halfling. You can see kind of spectacles on his face, and you can see that he was reading the paper, and just drinking a cup of coffee this morning.
Would you care for an ale, sir? I seem to have an extra.
My father said never turn down a pint, and he gladly accepts it. And he's like, "I presume you saw the flyer. If you're," he looks at the group and says, "based on your crew here."
Indeed, we were hoping to learn some more about your issues.
Are you the one with the cat?
What's that about a cat?
He looks at you and he's like, "That would be Gertrude, not me." And he's like, "You wouldn't believe that she asked the farming union for help to find her cat as well."
If you're running through the fields.
As you say that, he's like,
Well, is there anyone
reasonable than I expect.
Ask?
It sounds like saving that cat would be a real service to everyone else.
Didn't think about it that way.
Oh my god, dude. You're right. It does the most because everybody's affected by Gertrude's annoyance.
Yeah.
Okay, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to hear what Mr. Winters has to say.
He says, yes. So, yes, there has been multiple reports of cattle being killed on our northern farms. The farmers, there was overnight the farmers would wake up, go out into their fields, see that their cattle were very stressed out, and find corpses of various cattle. Really not, the corpses weren't like eaten through, just killed. We don't know exactly what was happening, and one of the farmers claim that after their cattle had been killed one night, they stayed out the night after to see what was going on, and they said that there was something some kind of creature that they had never seen before. It wasn't. I don't know if I believe him. He's a little off his rocker, but he said it had a long tail, but like some kind of beak. But again, not anything like a creature that I've heard of, and not I don't know if I necessarily trust that old kook. But the only other thing that is of note is that one of the cattle was left alive, in a very poor state, frozen, laying on the ground. The eyes, only thing that could move, still able to breathe. And then, wouldn't you know it, after maybe they are able to give it some water and somehow get a little bit of food in her, but and after a couple of hours, she eventually regained her mobility and was able to get back up. And as far as I heard, she hasn't had too many issues after the fact there. But yeah, so what we're asking here is that a brave group of adventurers like yourself goes out, figures out what's killing our cattle, and takes care of the problem for us. In fact, I know that there's already a reward as for the town, but the farmers came together, and we have 100 gold piece reward on this for anyone who does this. And yeah, so that would be in addition. Regardless of how well you do, you'll also have my support in the vote at the end. But yeah, and maybe you'd get some support from the town guard. I know we've been complaining to them, and they've been doing some investigation. I know they're a little short-staffed, maybe overwhelmed. I don't know, but yeah, that's the whole situation. Do you have any questions?
Wait, forgive me for asking more about politics, but who all gets a vote?
Yes. It's a good question. There will be 100 representatives from the town, of the major factions, and a couple of people who volunteered to vote. Right. So we're gonna have maybe 10 volunteers, or 10 people from the farming union who will be represented. Some amount from the town guard will be represented. The Merchants Guild. I know that the Temple to Shantae will have some people as well. And I think the blacksmithing union, or blacksmithing guild, will also have some folks. And then that would probably make up about half of the voting block in the end. And then the rest will be people who had volunteered, and then their names were picked from a hat. So just a random assortment of people from town.
Is Gertrude one of those names?
They have not revealed the name, though I will say, knowing Gertrude, she would have said that she was, so I would guess not.
Fair enough.
Now, about these cattle that were found dead, were there any obvious wounds on them, or were they simply ceased to be alive?
Yes, the ones that were dead were covered in lacerations. It appears that they bled out. We don't know for certain how exactly, but it definitely related to whatever wounds they received from whatever creature they might have seen out there, or may have got them out there.
What on earth could have left frozen?
Well, I guess we'll find out if we go up there.
Yeah.
Which farm is it that had these issues?
It was the Gale Wind and the Westwood farms.
Ah, 2 farms.
Yeah.
And how many cows were killed in total?
I think it was, half a dozen about of each. At least the first night, and the second night when that crazy old man said he thought he saw some. Crazy old Jenkins up there said he saw some.
Which farm is he at?
He's a farmhand on the Windgale, I think is what I said was the first
Gale
one.
Wind.
Gale Wind, sorry.
And then what was the second farm, if you don't mind me asking?
Westwood.
Okay.
Gale, yeah, he was a farmhand on the Gale Wind farm.
Jenkins.
Okay, thank you.
What did Jenkins say that he saw?
Said he couldn't get a clear picture, but he saw a long tail and some kind of beak. But I don't know what that means. I think he's off his rocker. This is
Would-
probably just wolves.
Wolves
It
are
hasn't
any of
happened
us-
before, but could be wolves, I guess.
Could I do like a nature check to see if I know anything like that?
Yeah, you can do a nature check.
What is this? That's D20, right? Because I want to take one too.
Yeah, it's D20 and then plus intelligence. I got an 11.
I got a 7.
Yeah, neither of you are able to.
I want to do
decipher.
one too.
Oh,
Give me one
Okay,
sec.
yeah, go for it.
Wait, was that Jake talking in Australian?
Nature, I have a 10 plus 4, so 14.
Yeah, none of you are from that description are able to figure out what kind of creature this is. You don't even have like anything really close to an inkling.
Well, do you know anything?
Yeah.
Well, food prices affect everyone, and particularly the poorest, so it seems to me that this is a particularly important thing to resolve.
Seems like the farmers would be most grateful to not have to worry about this as well.
Yeah, it also seems as though I mean the
We're having
bandits
this
seem to be
conversation right in front of him, by the way.
kind of off
yeah,
to the side or
you
in front
you
of him.
can.
whatever.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just.
I'm just gonna say the bandits seem like what they're doing is pretty predictable, whereas over at the farmers' union, they're being ravaged by what seems to be a beast. So
True.
that seems
Yeah,
more
the
unpredictable, and yeah, we should probably handle that one first.
Mr. Winters, in your recent travels, have you encountered any bandits on the road?
Great
I gotta,
question.
I gotta say, I don't get out of town too often. But I was talking, and our farms I've heard about these bandits. And our farms are a little bit north of the town, right? Going up that way. They haven't made it down to our farms or anything like that, but I've talked to other farmers, and they have said when they're taking their crops, their salted, preserved meats, and they're going to the north, and they want to make a sale, perhaps in Huber, that these bandits are either taking money, they're taking food, they're taking a piece of whatever they got on the way through.
Mr. Winters, can I just ask you candidly? I'm curious which one. How do you think we could be helping the town the best if we were to do just one task?
He looks at you and he thinks, he's like, between those two, I think I gotta say, I think it is the one that I explained, because if there is no food, there's nothing for them to tax going through. And if it keeps going this way, these farmers are going to be having trouble. Farmers are getting too nervous to go out in fields at times. I know the crops are suffering from this, so that there ain't going to be food if that this situation isn't resolved.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. We really appreciate that. Yeah, and then I kind of give a glance over to the other guys, like, "Hey, you said this would be helpful. It seems pretty, obvious based on the math that food is most important."
I agree. I think we should prioritize the food.
The only we did for the Merchants Guild and the Bandits, but the last one is talking to the Blacksmithing Guild at the Mountain Gate about their missing mithril.
That is just one piece of armor.
A shipment of mithril.
Wait.
I don't know what they do with it though. So.
Then how valuable is mithril in this world?
So quite valuable. It is a rare ore. All of the mithril that any of you have ever heard of has come from the mines of Hukasta City. They hold an effective monopoly on the resource, and it is prized among armor. It's prized for even some tools. It's a very valuable resource that only comes from Hukasta City.
How do you spell that?
Which one?
Hukasta.
Hucosta.
That's the city
Is that
next to
Thank
the dwarves,
is
right?
that the thing that's
It's
just
the dwarf
labeled
city.
as marker 52
No, that
on
is
my
the dwarf
map?
city.
That is my boy marker 52.
Okay.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
wait, that is the dwarf city then.
That is the Dwarven city.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I hit this whole time I was thinking it was a different city. Okay.
No, the other ones, they're in alliance with the Hoovers to the north.
Okay, that makes sense. Now
Yeah, I
And-
mean,
and-
like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And those two are the two fighting Silverfin Armada, just to put it all together.
Who's
Okay.
allied with the Hoobers?
Hukasta.
The
Got
And
it.
you know that Pythron is neutral in the
Right.
the conflict.
So Silvervin versus Hukasta and Hoobers.
Mhm.
Mhm.
For control over the waters.
Well, anyone got any more questions for Mr. Winters while we're here?
Not me.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Winters.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
I toast
Winters,
him.
what's your backstory? Where-
He's like, he's actually a little bit taken aback, but is happy like that someone's asking about him. He's like, oh, so I've lived in Python City my whole life. Currently, or for most of my life, I was a farm hand. But he like holds up his hands to you all, and you can see that they're like pretty brutally scarred. And he's like, until there was a wolf attack on some of the cattle. I tried to save the cattle, and instead I lost, much of the strength of my hands and the cattle. Now I'm actually working for the Python City government as a representative of the farming union. So I help with some of the bureaucratic tasks as I am of no use in the fields anymore.
Next time I see a wolf, I will smite it on your behalf.
That would make me quite happy.
All right. Note to self and party: if we return to him, we bring him a wolf pelt.
Yeah.
Even if we don't find a wolf, we just gotta find a pelt.
Just
All right. Well, I raise my glass and say, "To your continued good health," and I down it.
Yeah, and he also raises a glass and looks around that he realizes it's only the two of you that have drinks. The rest of you are just kind of standing there. He's like, nice talking to you.
I would like to.
He suddenly feels like real awkward.
I want to
Yeah.
attempt to chug it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, make a Constitution check.
Oh god.
It's kind of surprising to me that chugging isn't a skill.
Yeah, I know.
17, and I think I have +3 on Constitution as well.
Oh yeah, like it is one.
It's down the hatch.
And he said a pint, but you know this is more than a pint, right? He was just calling the alcohol a pint. You got a big tankard and you crushed it. He's like, he's impressed, but he's a little astonished at crushing it this early.
I let out a small belch.
And with that, he's like,
So what time of day is it now?
so yeah, you had been doing some walking through town and a couple of conversations. Hasn't taken too long. You would estimate that since lunch, it's probably been somewhere between like an hour, 2 hours. The sun is starting to get a little bit lower, but you haven't really got into evening time yet.
Okay, so we would theoretically have time to go towards the mountain gate and talk to the blacksmiths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we want to talk to them, or do we just want to take up one of the quests that we've already got figured out?
Well, I
I have a
mean, we
question
don't
about the
have
farm
too
a
much
little bit.
information on what they were doing with this mithril, so it could be something super useful that we'd be missing out on.
Who's got questions?
There
Yeah, I
were
heard
2
there-
farms, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How,
Galewind and Westwood.
Are they both up the forest path?
Yeah, these are both northern farms.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I would at least be willing to see what the blacksmiths want, although I don't think it will be the most valuable.
I think so long as we talk to them before nightfall, then gathering information would be useful.
Would anybody like to check out these farms and maybe we split up to talk to the blacksmiths?
That's what I was thinking. I think that during night, if it was wolves, is when they would probably strike. So I would like to head up to the farms prior to nightfall.
Do you want to stake them out tonight?
I want to stake them out tonight, so I'm not gonna try to attack anything. I'm trying to gain some information.
Well, in that case, we need
Would need food.
food. Perhaps we should get some
Are we
dinner.
still standing in the
Some
horned
fish,
salamander?
perhaps?
You are in the horned salamander.
We could just grab food on the way out.
Can I buy?
I already
like,
have one
food?
to-go box.
Just like a,
You
a
just come back and
takeout
be like,
order
can you fill more of this?
of whatever lunch food they have.
Yeah, they have kind of like standardy bar fare,
Mhm.
sandwiches. They have like kind of fried up potato skins from the sides of everything. Seems like more kind of a greasy spoon type
Yeah.
type meals.
I'll just grab a
Uh,
sandwich.
Yeah.
Ask for it in some kind of box.
So you go up to the barkeep and you request your sandwich, and he's like, and he actually looks and sees Paravan behind you. He's like, "You saw his takeout box, didn't you?"
I did.
I give a malicious grin.
However,
He's
there
like-
are ungodly things in that takeout box right now.
He's like, whatever the customers use them for, that's no mind, no thing for me to mind. But I told her that takeout boxes are the future, and here you come to me asking for one. No ads.
I
Word
would
of
love
mouth.
2 sandwiches in a box identical to that.
He is like, no problem.
Make that a double,
Can we get
please.
a box with the lid though?
You say that and he turns around. He's like, one second, and he writes down.
Box with lid.
All right, well, if he's a voter, we just got his vote.
Yeah, we just invented takeout boxes.
And
Real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to ask Mr. Winters how we get to these farms, like precise directions.
Oh yeah, he describes like, oh, if you take the road up there,
Oh,
there'll
fantastic.
be some small paths off to the west, and he explains it in enough detail that you'd be able to make it without
Awesome,
much
cool.
issue. So yeah.
Well, I don't like the idea of splitting the party. So
Okay.
should we just go to the cattle then? We don't want to talk to the blacksmiths.
Well, I think the plan is those who go to the cattle are spending the night in a field. Is everyone okay with that?
Well, I mean, if we get up there, we could just talk to the farmers first and see what's up. Potentially stay in the
How-
farm or on
how
their
long
roof
of a
or
walk is
something.
it?
Oh yeah,
field
so you
through
asked
the
Tarn how long the walk is, and he's like, it's a bit of a ways. I would say if you left now, you'd make it right before that sun went down.
Yeah.
And
So
we
I'd say
have no time to waste.
I'm gonna head up now. Whether somebody wants to stay behind and come up tomorrow
Mhm.
to talk to the blacksmith guild, I think that's not a terrible idea. But I'd like
Uh,
to try to gain information. We only have 10 days to do this, so and other people are on the same tasks.
It may be best to prioritize 1 or 2 tasks instead of doing everything and spreading ourselves too thin.
Well, no, the information piece was the first piece. Just getting information.
Oh, and then
We
the
were gonna
barkeep,
figure
for
out
those
which
of
one of
you who
these
got
tasks we
takeout,
think would
uh,
be the most
that costs
helpful.
you
Which was
a
that?
silver apiece.
Silver piece.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
like some takeout as well.
I put
Yeah.
down 2 silver.
I asked him what he would recommend to
Mm,
go.
As a connoisseur, a repeat customer, man, of the takeout boxes, the sandwich stays excellently. I'll even put the dressing for the sandwich on the side. You wouldn't want soggy bread for your takeout. That is quite good. We've also, we're still in the kind of the handheld realm, but we do have like he shows what's it's a burger, but he's like, I don't know what to call it quite yet. Big meat sandwich? Big meat sandwich. Right?
And what kind of large meat do you have there?
This is a big beef meat sandwich. My mistake.
Big beef meat.
Wait, what's your name, sir? Is it-
My name?
Did you say it was Mac?
People have asked as though my name is Mac, but really my name's Cam. They get it backwards.
Oh. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe call it the Big Cam.
He looks at you. Your meal is free, sir.
Oh, thank you.
and he writes more down on a piece of paper, and he's like, next time you come back for takeout for lunch tomorrow, you'll be getting Big Cams with a lid.
Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
I look at my old box, which still has my old potatoes in it.
Yes.
And I go, Cam, could I get some of these fried potatoes with that too?
Of course, that comes with
Oh, fantastic.
the big cam. Unless you're getting a sandwich, they also come with sandwiches. I couldn't remember which.
Well, I would love one big cam to go, please.
He's like coming right up.
Staggering.
I like how the deepest lore we have is the fucking McDonald's in this city.
Right? Forbidden in itself.
Yeah, the
Man.
true rivalry emerges.
This
Alright,
meal
Long-John
sure is
Silver's
making me
versus
happy.
McDonald's.
Next visit, we introduced the idea of franchising.
Man, if only there were one of these on the other side of town.
But yeah, so you each get your takeout, and so yeah, which way are you all actually going? I don't know if I heard a consensus or not.
I'm headed north.
Okay,
I
so
think
Bryn is
I'm
headed north.
to the farm.
I also
Flint
would like to
headed,
go to the farm.
Parabon headed to the north.
I'll head to the north.
All right. We
I'll
got
stop in
4
at my guild and ask my compatriots to finish up my work.
Is
Yeah,
anyone
well,
headed to
it'll
the
be on your way.
Blacksmith's Guild? That's a better question.
Huh?
Is anyone headed?
Yeah,
to
is
the
anyone
Blacksmith's
headed to the Blacksmith's Guild? Is a good question. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like no.
Okay. Yeah. So you are on your way
On the way.
up to the farm in the north. The road is pretty well paved as you leave the city, and it eventually kind of staggers off into a dirt road. As you get farther from the city, you can see what was kind of just normal grasslands with some trees in it make way for farms. And following the direction that Tarn Winter said, he's like, and so with the big oak, you're going to take that first road, like very rural style directions, like a big landmark focused directions. You make your way to a farm that has a little kind of hanging sign next to the road that says the Galewind Farm.
Ah, this is the one we want. This is where Jenkins is.
Mhm.
We should
Yeah.
talk to him about what he saw. And did we catch which farm had the surviving cow?
No, but he would have mentioned it, so I'll fix that a little bit. That's my bad. It was the Westwood Farm.
Okay, thank you.
But these two farms are actually adjacent to each other. So you
Cool,
can see
cool.
that across the way there is also the Westwood Farm. So you are there. It took you a couple of hours to make it this way. You're glad you brought snacks for those of you who brought takeout. As you know, you got a little peckish on the way. And yeah, you make your way up there. You see kind of a large field sprawling out. You can see cattle grazing. It's actually kind of a mixed grazing field where you can see sheep and rams and cattle and goats, all kind of intermingled farming, chewing on the grass. On the other half, that isn't just the animals. You can see that there's a field of wheat that's also growing back there. There is a barn out in the middle of the field, and then a large, a large barn in the middle of the field, and a smaller farmhouse that's situated with a little path coming off of the side road that you could walk up to. You don't see anyone working out in the field right now, but yeah. What are y'all doing?
I think that might be
Gonna
fine.
go to the main farm, try to look for Jenkins.
Sure. Yeah, you are you going to be are you going to the farmhouse or are you going on to the
I'll go to the farmhouse.
Okay, yeah. So you go up to the farmhouse, or is anyone else doing anything else, or are people following up? You can see behind, the first, closer to the road, you can see that the cattle, the sheep, and the goats are grazing, and then behind that there's a field of wheat.
Would perhaps Would perhaps 3 of us want to check out the other farm?
Yes, I
That'd be
think I will
smart.
check out the other
Yeah,
farm.
that's a good idea.
I will go with Flint.
Flint and Pear.
Yeah,
What
okay.
what a pair we make.
Flint and Paragon. And then are you 4 going to the farmhouse, or is another person going with Flint and Paragon?
What at the Galewind, was there anything other than the farmhouse to look at? You said
Farmhouse
there was the.
and a barn.
Okay, I'll go to take a peek at the barn.
Oh, Paravan quaffed an ale really quickly, so I think I'm gonna take a shot to put myself in the appropriate level of inebriation.
Yeah, the correct headspace to be playing your character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whew.
All right.
Should we roll initiative to see which one of these things happens first?
No, we're just gonna kind of choose. So I'm actually gonna start with the Windwood folks who are headed, or sorry, the Westwood folks who are headed to the one where Tarn had said they had found a petrified cow, but no crazy old man. So who is the 2 doing that? Flint and Paragon?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you walk your way up. It's very similar looking farms, honestly. Like you had seen the field for the I explained the one for Galewind, and it looks like reasonably similar for this other farm, right? You don't see any goats on this farm. It's just sheep and cattle, and instead they own like a similar plot of land, in that they have their animals near the road and a field this time of you can't exactly tell, but it looks like a bunch of kind of vines growing out there from far away. Again, with a slightly smaller barn, but a little bit bigger of a farmhouse
Now, is this next door or across the street?
across the street.
Okay, I was just wondering if their fields were like touching at all.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one with the petrified cow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Do we see anybody out and about?
Yeah, it's quiet. As we're getting down to the later parts of the day, you would assume that they've wrapped up their farm work by the time you had gotten here, since the sun is starting to set. Right, you're approaching evening time.
So should we walk up to the farmhouse? And, like,
Yeah,
knock?
that's the best move I see.
Okay. Yeah. You go up to the farmhouse and knock on the door, and you hear a commotion inside. Lots of clanging and smashing and bashing, and eventually you hear feet run up to the door, pull it open, and even though, like, I know you're not particularly tall, Flint, you're both looking down at a young child who had opened the door and said, "Hello." He seems astonished that like he's never seen you before. Like there isn't a lot of visitors who come here, and he just goes, and just immediately starts screaming. Eventually, and a middle-aged woman comes over carrying a baby on her shoulder and says, "Hey," and like leans down, like, "It's okay, why don't you go run off?" And you can see that there's tons of kids running in the background, and eventually this child goes and joins these kids who are running about. And he's like, how can I help you folks?"
So we are adventurers from the town. We are seeking to investigate the recent mayhem that has happened with the cattle. Would you know anything about that?
Ain't that just terrible? Yeah, they got our cattle, and they even got a couple of our sheep too. We don't know what got it, but here, let me see. And she calls back over her shoulder, "Maxwell, get over here." And you see an older man kind of walk up to the farm. He's got the overalls. He's got the straw out of his mouth, even though he's indoors. Like he's not chewing out in the field. He's got the straw hat. He's looking the part. And he's notably not wearing shoes. Walks up and is like, and then she's like, "These folks are here to look at that whatever happened to our animals." And he's like, "Oh, good. I talked to old Tarn about this, and it seems that he's getting something done. You know, I appreciate that. Here." And he says, Follow me. Let me show you what's going on." And he, it leads you out towards the barn, for what's happening. Are you following him?
Yeah, we follow.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So you walk across the field, passing all of his different animals that are kind of just ambling about and grazing, until he brings you into the barn. It's getting pretty dark inside of the barn at this point, right? You can see dust kind of billowing up, but without the bright sunlight going through, it's a little bit dark. He lights like kind of a hanging torch that he has, like basically a rope with a what is that called?
Lantern?
A lantern. Thank you. A lantern hanging from it that he lights, and it illuminates the room. And you can see there are a couple of cows sitting inside, and particularly there's one cow that is not laying down, but kind of sitting down uncomfortably. He's like, "All right, this is Bessie here," and Bessie was the one that made it. So I was gonna start with her, and then I'll show you what happened to the other ones. But yeah, Bessie here. I came out one morning. I saw some dead cows. I thought some kind of wild animal got to them, but I think something more fishy than that's going on. Because Bessie was laying on the ground, eyes going crazy in her sockets, and unable to move, unable to even moo. Couldn't make a sound.
Couldn't move, couldn't move.
Couldn't move. But yeah, you can take a look at her. She's still seeming a little slow. That's why I got her in here, making sure that she's going to be all right for the next couple of days.
Yeah, I want to investigate Bessie.
Yeah, you go up and you can see that she is laying down, kind of tired.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just like that.
She's snoring.
Holy shit. Yeah, and then she. Goddamn.
Oh my god.
And
Sounds like the Kraken.
the rest of them are like the rest of the cows you saw were still pretty active, but she seems pretty tired. Laying down, she kind of lazily opens one eye and looks at you as you come close.
Can I do like a more advanced inspection?
Yep. Yeah. So if you want to see if you can see some symptoms or whatever, I'll say make an animal handling check.
Cool. I have +5 in animal handling.
5 in
Well,
animal handling?
That's
Okay.
insane.
-1.
I rolled a 12.
I mean,
12,
+5.
So
is plus 5.
17.
That's pretty good. So yeah, you take a look at her. Looking over her, you can see that there's no real damage to her, right? You don't see cuts. You don't see bruises. You don't see anything like that. You don't see any injured legs that would have caused her to fall over. You don't see anything like that. From what you can tell,
Yeah.
big meat sandwich. From what you can tell, she just fucking fell over and froze, right? You can't really tell an obvious cause to this issue just
Cool.
from an investigation like that.
Do you still have the bodies of the other cows?
Even though they weren't killed in the most pleasant way, I wouldn't let their meat go to waste. So yeah, I do. I could bring you over to that if you wanted to see that.
I would appreciate
I've butchered most of them by this point, but there is still one that I haven't got to yet.
Let's
Yeah. I want to see
Yeah,
that.
so he takes you out of the barn and brings you over to. There's like a small shack that was situated behind the barn that you couldn't quite see from the road, and with a door on it. And he leads you inside where you can see big hooks hanging from the ceiling where he has like the carcasses of cows hanging. You can see that there are 6 carcasses that are hanging. Most of them are pretty well cut up at this point, and the meat from them is taken away and gone. But one of them, as he had said, he hadn't gotten to yet. It hasn't quite started decomposing yet, but you're like, it smells bad in here, right? It's like dying flesh and meat. And yeah, that's what he sees. Like, so this is the only one I hadn't got to yet. If you wanted to take a look.
Cool.
Feel free to take a look. I don't have.
Yeah. What do we see?
Yeah, I mean, there is the cow is hanging. It's butterflied open at the stomach, right? So and you can see it's just hanging there. You look on the outside, you can see lots of different kind of cuts and scrapes and marks and dried blood on the side of the cow where it was injured. Basically, it seems like it's got really messed up by something.
If this
And then
thing
you see
were
cursory look.
clawed by claws, like how long would the claws be? Like how deep are these
Sure.
cuts?
Make a I'll say investigation or nature. It's up to you.
I got +4 in nature, so I'll do that. I rolled a 3.
A 17.
Okay. I see
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah, you don't see anything of particular note. When looking through, let's see here.
I rolled a 17.
Yeah, you're 17. You can see that it's not really claws that did damage here. These cuts seem more like bite. Right, like, but not a bite of what you're more familiar with that high of a roll. It doesn't look like it was like ripped and torn through the flesh where you would have seen like, like a normal wolf or something bite. It seems like kind of like a flat slap down, and like two like kind of pressing sides that bit into it that were doing most of the damage here, cutting through its skin and flesh.
This doesn't seem like claws to me. This seems like almost a beak.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, of all of the scratches, it's not in a claw shape. It looks like there's only two things coming down. The only thing that makes sense is some kind of beak. Is there any farmer? I'm sorry, Maxwell. Do you know of any large birds in the area?
Large birds? Nothing but the occasional hawk. Maybe a crow. Hey, I've seen an owl or two, but nothing that could do damage like this.
Nothing that can freeze.
Yeah.
Maxwell, would it be okay if we staked out your fields tonight?
You know, I'd actually appreciate that, because then I don't gotta worry about it, and I've been staying up the last couple of nights, and I'm getting pretty tired. Especially, do you see how many kids are in there? Do you see how many? A good night's sleep would do me good. I'd certainly appreciate it.
All right.
Cool.
And
Well, we have some friends across the road we'd like to check in with, but
Yeah,
we'll be out here tonight.
Perfect. Yeah. You kind of wrap up the conversation, and we're gonna cut to the friends across the road. Yeah, you see another farmhouse that seems relatively, like not too much going on. But yeah, what are you all doing?
Gonna go up, knock on the door.
Classic, right? You go knock on the door, and yeah, is all the other 4 of you going this way?
Yo.
Perfect. So opens the door, and you can see a elderly goblin man opens the door and says, "How can I help you?"
Hello, we are adventurers. We were told about your cattle problem with some cows getting killed in the night, and we were wondering if we might be able to help you, and if so, if you had any more information on
It was the
matters.
chupacabra. That's what came and got my cattle.
You must
Oh.
be Old Man Jenkins.
How did you know?
Just some information from town that we gathered. Somebody saw something.
Yeah, we heard you saw one of these creatures that might have hurt the cattle. Can you describe it for us?
Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Piercing red eyes.
Oh.
A giant beak, no more than 3 feet off of the ground. A long lizard's tail. And that's what got my cattle. Tarn doesn't believe me, but I know what I saw.
How close were you when you saw the chupacabra?
Close enough.
Yeah, wait. Can we make any evaluation of this man's eyesight? Like, is he like squinting at us or?
Insight check, yeah, go for it.
Cool.
9.
9.
18.
18.
Huge.
8.
Yeah, 9, 18, 8. Are you rolling, Jagat? 3. All right. So Borealis,
You like
you
don't even know the
know
classes
that
exist.
Borealis, you actually you see that he is squinting at you, but he seems sharper than you expected. Like he is like squinting to see you. He's squinting because he's suspicious of you.
Mm.
The
Do I
rest of-
sense? Do I
Oh, go ahead.
sense that he's like has an unstable mind?
He, from your insight check, you can tell that he maybe has a couple screws loose. But like he isn't completely bonkers, right?
Okay.
He's definitely a little bit kooky, but he's not like a off his rocker entirely.
He's just eccentric.
Eccentric, good word. And then the rest of you, he's squinting at you, and it looks like he can't see you very well, based on your insight checks.
Well, sir, you don't happen to still have the bodies of these cows. We might be able to make some more calculations on how to confront the chupacabra if we can see what kind of work it does.
Of course. Yeah. If you give me a second, and he closes the door in your faces, and you hear rummaging in the house, and he returns and he opens the door with a shovel, and he says, "Dig out behind the barn. I buried them just like Shantae would have won."
All right, I take the shovel.
Yeah. And he's like, if you learn anything, let me know. But I'm about to have my nighttime tea, and I'll be asleep in about a half an hour.
Sounds good, Mr. Jenkins.
Well, then let us ask you now before you go to sleep. Do you mind if we stay out here tonight and see if we can't catch a sight of the chupacabra?
He squints at you. He's like, on my land?
We mean
If
you
it
know
makes you
harm,
feel any
Mr.
better, we can
Jenkins.
stay outside of your fields, but in near trees nearby.
He like nods for a second, says, "That'd be all right. But don't you make a lot of ruckus. I was up all night hunting the chupacabra last night. I need my beauty sleep."
Okay, Mr.
Could
Jenkins.
you-
If we find the chupacabra, we'll be quiet.
You find
We
any
will,
fish
we will,
last
we
night?
will
Chupacabra,
confront
you
it
If
quietly.
you don't see anything, don't wake me. You see that chupacabra? I want to see him, and I want to take him down with my 2 hands.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins. We'll give you a signal. Do you want what would be a good code word for you?
Chupacabra.
How about chupacabra's here?
Okay.
That'd be perfect.
He probably doesn't understand common, so
He knows. You're talking in common to him.
well, I'm not.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, if we see the chupacabra, we'll yell chupacabra, and then you'll know that there's a chupacabra.
He looks at you
Oh,
and-
brilliant.
and nods knowingly, and he says, I'll get to my tea."
What kind of tea? Yeah.
Wheat tea.
Ooh.
Wheat.
You want a cup?
Maybe we better
I-
abstain. If this is a sleepy time tea, we don't want to, fall asleep on watch.
It puts me right to bed. That's true.
Yeah, you're right. You got a point there.
Mhm.
I'll,
And
I'll
he's-
leave you
and
to
then-
your tea.
Yep. And he, as you say that, he slams the door in your faces.
I
You're
think
left with the
Mr.
shovel.
Jenkins is suspicious of us, you guys. All right, well, should we connect with our friends and see what they found over at the Westwood, and then stake
Oh.
out these farms?
You guys got some
Maybe we
cows
should
to
do
dig
our
up.
digging first.
Oh! Thank you. I forgot that I have this shovel in my hand. So
Just
let's
like
go.
20 minutes later, why is this shovel in my hand?
Yeah, let's go around back and get these cows.
Yeah, so you
Probably not. You gonna sleep while I dig up this dead cow? Yeah, if you have to, get a short rest in.
Yeah, so you all make your way out to behind the barn, where you can see some pretty obviously shallow graves that were dug. Are you gonna try to dig up these graves? I
Yeah,
assume?
yeah. Do I have to
Um,
do a check for anything?
no. You're capable of digging. So yeah, you're able to dig through the soil, and you only get down maybe just a couple of feet before you run into one of these cows. You kind of clear off at least the side of the body. Are you going to try to exhume it entirely, or look at it in the ground?
Well, are they wrapped at all, or were they just dumped in the ground?
So you actually, as you look at it, it's a good point. You can see that there is a small on the first cow that you had found here. There's a small kind of like a bundle of wheat tied together, and then like a stem coming up with a red berry. You can see on that's just on top of it, but it isn't wrapped up or anything.
Oh.
Yeah, you could try.
Yeah, do we want to get him out of the ground first? All right, grab one end.
Grab one end. How many ends does a cow have?
Take the front end, I advise you.
No, that's the end I got. Go get the rear. Oh, okay. I mean, we dig up the cows and fully exhume their bodies.
Cool. Sorry, I'm looking up one thing really quick here, so I
That's fine.
Make sure I get it right. And of course, the page won't load.
Oh, hey, look, an earthworm.
So yeah,
I'm disgusted.
You all pick up each of these cows and actually a couple of sheep were all buried in here, kind of side by side, each with that same bundle on top of it. And looking at it, you said you were going to cast Detect Magic, right? You got so you can sense. What I'm trying to find is the correct school of magic that is related here. So give me a second.
Is that the physical handbook?
Yeah, that's my physical.
Wow, he has book in hand.
You have no idea how many fucking stupid books I have. So many. I should have the class somewhere. Sorry. I should have been ready for this one. There we go. Okay, gotcha. So as you cast Detect Magic, you can see these faint green wisps on one of the sheep, which you are able to identify as someone who's experienced with magic, as this is some kind of transmutation magic that has been done to this sheep. You can't tell exactly what happened, but there's some kind of transmutation magic. It's very faint because it's been a couple of days, but it's there.
Oh, what kind of magic?
Green, yeah, and transmutation. I think transmutation. Mm-hmm. Yes, you would know that this is transient. Yeah, you would know the school. That's what you get. And in this case, it's represented by a green aura. I may be getting the wrong aura. I just made up the color this time. But
Oh, what do you know? What spells cast transmutation and could be applied here?
So unless you know offhand, Jake, I can help. Yeah, so you would know that transmutation magic is kind of what it says in the name. It's all about changing the properties of another creature. right? Whether you're growing or shrinking the creature, healing the creature, bolstering the creature, or anything like that is doing that kind of thing. Is what transmutation magic is all about.
Interesting. So someone did something to it, but we don't know what they were trying to get done. Unless
Definitely
it
was not a wolf. At this point, we know that much.
I don't know, maybe this thing is a magic user as well. It's a magical beast. I mean, it sounds like if it's got all these different components to it, that, I don't know, maybe it's got some sort of magic involved.
Or maybe Old Man Jenkins shrunk it before he buried it to make it easier.
That's my favorite theory.
That would be great, yeah. Well,
Can
is
I...
it shrunk at all from a normal cow size?
Not from what you can tell.
Okay.
It seems relatively average, right? They vary, but they're not obviously smaller.
Can I make a religion check to see if I can figure out the ritual significance of the wheat and red berry bundle?
Yeah, go for it.
Son of a bitch. 6.
Okay. So with a 6, you know that this is the holy symbol of Shantae because you live in
A city where she is popular.
very important, right? You're, as someone who isn't like a devout follower of Shantae, like you're more of Delara. You are more familiar with her stuff, but you're not super familiar with what exactly it means in this context.
Gotcha.
Yep. Anyone else making a check?
Yeah, I'll do one. Religion. I got a 0. Not
Wait.
the roll, but
What kind of
reduced.
die you rolling?
No. 7. So probably not.
Yeah, you don't even necessarily recognize the Shantae as you haven't lived in a city of it having Shantae being relevant for you your whole life. You just know it had some kind of religious significance in this case.
Right.
What are you looking for? Oh, you want to check what the berries are? Okay, yeah, you can make a nature check. No, they're just red. Is all that I had said. On closer inspection, they are cherry tomatoes.
Ooh. Whoa. That changes everything.
Oh, that was sitting on a dead cow.
Make a Constitution save.
That's sacrilegious.
Make
Well,
a
as a
Constitution
paladin,
save.
can I put my hand out in front of him as he reaches towards his mouth?
Make a dexterity contest against each other. So you each roll dexterity.
Okay. I want to make him second guess this. I rolled an 8.
So you can see Borealis reach out to try to stop you, but he is unable to stop you. Are you still eating this cherry tomato or grape tomato? Okay, yeah.
Oh, God.
You pop that red little bean right in your mouth.
Shantae's gonna come after us, man. It's your fault.
You eat the berry. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Good lord.
God.
Pretty good tomato. Faint taste of rot, but other than that, great tomato.
Rich earthy flavor.
I would say it's bitches. So yeah, yeah, you've investigated, exhumed these cattle, and now there's just some empty shallow graves in front of you, with one cow missing its red cherry tomato.
So, what kind of marks are on these cows? Do we kind of decipher this?
Yeah,
the
you
similar beak thing.
make a investigation or nature check works.
Okay.
I'm gonna do an investigation. Yep. 14.
5.
5. Anyone else doing that check? Okay.
Wait, investigation?
Or nature, up to you.
I'll investigate. 11.
So those of you above 10 recognize that this is not claw marks. This is not chomping teeth. This isn't a slash or anything like that. It's a bite, but it looks like a vice snapped down on it and pierced through. Is like the kind of wounds you're seeing all along their bodies.
But the wounds themselves are very shallow, right?
Yeah, they don't go super deep into the.
So like the
flesh.
organs weren't hit.
No. They were, it looks like it caused a lot of bleeding based on like the dried blood on the creature's skin,